Hello, everyone. Today is November 21st, and it just so happens to be the 21st day since I started this 500 trading challenge. I do apologize for not coming out with daily videos as I've said I would in the past videos. That's because I've been really extremely busy, and I've been trying to work on brand new strategies better suited for a small account. So I've been testing a lot of strategies here and there, and I failed a couple of times since I've made my last video here on November the 3rd. And since then I've actually blown up my account two times, but I'll get into that in a little bit. For now, I just want to go over how much I made today and the tickers I traded. In total, I made $598.20. After commissions, that netted me a profit of $507.84. I've nearly doubled my account as I only started with $768.18 in the morning. And I've only traded four tickers today. The first being CLSN, QD, UTSI, SIG. SIG was the only trade I lost money on. To be more technical, I actually only lost a commission on this because I traded this way too safely. And as I mentioned earlier, here's my account history from October 31st all the way up to November 20th, that being yesterday. And I've blown up my account two times more since I've made my last video. As you could see here, the dates I've circled in blue are the times I've actually deposited my account with $500. On the 15th, I made a deposit of $500. And on the 20th, which was yesterday again, I've also deposited another $500. In total, since I first started making videos on my 500 trading challenge, I've put in a total amount of $2,000 into this account. And here's another snapshot of the amount I've put in my account. So here we see November 1st, $500, $17.50 in the transaction fee. And the reason why these dates are a little bit different than what I've just mentioned is because I guess these are the actual dates I've put in the request for the deposit amount, but these dates are definitely the dates that I've actually received the deposit into my account in which they were available for trading. Now, today was the best day of my trading career ever since I started this challenge. $500 in profits. Wow, I'm still kind of sitting back in a little bit of disbelief. But then again, I put in a lot of hard work in the past couple of days into finding the best setups in which I was comfortable trading and minimizing my losses by cutting them and managing my risks a lot better than I've been doing in the past couple of weeks. And all that preparation led to this day of having $500 profit, and I'm very proud of myself. So I'll get into the trades right now, starting with CLSN. This is a biotech company, and I saw that this was one of the biggest percentage gainers during the pre-market. It was up on fairly large volume, and I was looking at the break of $3 area around here in order to gain my entry. After I saw it popping up, breaking above $3, it quickly went up to 305. But I didn't take my position yet. I waited for a small pullback and I got in at $3. It did drop 2 more cents right after hitting $3, which was my entry price. But I didn't back out because I told myself I would risk about 10 cents for my entry, so that would be 290 before exiting for a loss. I took 500 shares position in this, and I actually sold way too soon. I did not catch the meat of this move here. It had a high of all the way up to almost $4. So $1 from my entry in the pre-market. My exit was actually at 310, which is pretty laughable because I did miss out on the 90 cents gain here. What made me bigger profits was that I waited until the market opened in order to show me confirmation of which way it was heading. As expected, it had a pop, but I knew it wasn't going to be long lasting. So I waited until I saw weakness and I shorted at 390 exactly. I covered way too soon. I believe I covered 10 cents below. That's because I already made 10 cents on this. So I said, hey, why not? Let's just scalp it for another 10 cents. I did know there was going to be possible downside to this, but at the time, I just wanted to lock in profits as quickly as possible, which is pretty good to start your morning off. But SIG was the first ticker to trade in the morning, and I shorted this because I saw that it was one of the biggest percentage losers because I look at both spectrums. I look at the biggest gainers as well as the biggest losers, and I knew this had more downside to it. I'm forgetting what the news was, but there was a pretty good catalyst of why this was going heading down so much. I think it was the earnings loser. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. And I shorted at 63. I actually wanted to get into 64 in the pre-market area here, but my broker was acting quite funny on the executions, and I had to put in my entries like way below what I wanted to get into. So when it was actually trading at 63.50, I had to go in at $63 just to ensure my entry, and I covered because I was afraid that it was going to have a more of a pop, testing the 20 EMA, maybe back up to 67. I didn't know at the time. So I ended up covering at break even. My thesis was spot on as we saw a drop all the way down to 63. It's currently trading at 63 right now, and it's 5:41 p.m. Eastern time. I left $10 of profit on the table here, but I didn't mind so much because this was such a high price stock. It's trading in the $50, $60 range, so I could only get in 70 shares with my small account. So I said, you know what? The market is really volatile today. I'm just going to keep looking for better opportunities. And what I saw next was UTSI. This had pretty good news yesterday, and it spiked really quick yesterday morning all the way up to 410, and it came back down just as quickly. But I noticed that there was strong support in the 350s area, which was a nice price range I like to get into. But the pre-market level two was quite hard. There was a gap of up to $1 at one point. But right before market open, I would say 10, 15 minutes prior, someone put in a sell order, or I don't know if it was a short, at 355, which was very close to the support level that we saw yesterday here, which I think nailed it pretty much. So I said, you know what? I just want to get in with 500 shares. And I took it. And as soon as the market opened, I saw that there wasn't any volume coming in. And the number one thing that I always look for in a stock when I trade, before all the catalysts and everything, is the volume. You can't trade a stock if it doesn't have volume, unless you know that this stock is gonna have news in the future or have growth in the future. But then again, who could foresee all that unless you're an insider, right? So as soon as the market opened, I set a sell order at 369, which was right below 1 cent of the ask, which was sitting at 370. And the bids did come in, and I got executed right away. So I made a quick 14 cents off my 500 shares right at market open. So I sold into this first red 1 minute candle here that we see, which had a high of 375 on very low volume. It only had 4K shares traded as soon as the market opened. Moving on. So with QD, this was my biggest money maker for today. This had a catalyst and it gapped down and opened at a low of 1275. It was trading pretty hard in pre-market, but I said, you know what? This is definitely going to have a reversal of some sort or a pop at least, and that's what I want to see to short into, because with 99% of the stock out there, unless it goes into bankruptcy or some other extreme cases, a stock will not just continually have a downfall all the way down to $0. And the reverse is true. A stock won't just keep trending up high. It's going to have pullbacks and pops after hitting lows and highs. So that's what I was expecting. So I didn't touch this until 9:35 a.m. after I saw this big green candle after testing the EMAs on the 5 minute chart. If you look at the previous three candles before this, it has a green candle, a red candle, green candle, and a red candle. So I said this looks like a pattern here. It seems like the bulls and bears are going back and forth. And while this stock is showing strength, I think these red candles represents consolidation. And also another thing was this stock was put on a short sell restriction, which means you can only short on the ask and you can't hit the bid. So I said, you know what? Let me try to get near the high of this green candle, and I shorted at 1770 with around 300 shares, and I covered into this consolidation because I knew that there might be more room to go. And I was right. And I ended up shorting again at 1850 because I saw that the volume was fading a little bit. And I said there might be another consolidation, which in fact did again. I covered the majority of my shares back here down at 1780, and I held on to 100 shares and I covered around 1730, 50 cents lower. So in total, I profited $367.83 on QD alone, which was my biggest money maker once again. Now, if you notice, the biggest shares I took today was 500 shares, and I managed to make 159, 367, and $69, which goes to show you, even though if you have a small account, you could quickly grow it. Now, granted, with QD, I did use margin, and also same being with UTSI and CLSN. A lot of people would advise you against using margin because you could end up losing more than you actually have in your account, which is very true. But here's my argument. If you have such a small account, you need to be a little more aggressive in order to grow your account quickly. And here's the thing with my account. It's really small right now at $768, and I'm trying to grow it as quickly as possible. That is the reason why I use margin. Now, once I get around 5, 10 grand, I'll probably cut back on the margin usage. But the one rule I implemented on myself to protect myself from losing more than I actually own is I came up with a 500 share rule. In my previous videos, I had a couple of other rules and I tried them out. One of my rules in the past was only trade once a day. I tried doing that, but I kept hitting my max daily loss day after day because the first trade of the day usually ended up to be one of my worst trades of the day, as we saw with SIG, which was the only trade I lost money on, which actually I came out break even, but lost money because of the commissions. Now, that was my first trade of the day. Had I stopped there, I wouldn't be looking at this $500 day that I had. Instead, I said a better rule would be to keep all my share size at 500 the maximum. That way I can manage risk a lot easier. Every time I go into a trade, even if I'm unsure, I only tell myself 500 shares the maximum, 500 shares the maximum, and I keep repeating that to myself over and over again. Therefore, I know exactly how many shares I have, even if I get bombarded by looking at other charts. I always know if I have a position, okay, 500 shares. I'm going to take off 200 shares here, lock in profits, hold the rest. That's just my mentality. As my account grows bigger, of course, I'm going to be taking on more share size. But as of right now, 500 shares, no matter what the stock price is, it's working for me. And I'm going to stick with that because don't fix what's not broken, right? And here's the thing with QD, it's such a high price stock. So if you took 500 shares in this, you would be losing $50 for every 10 cents. And this stock was very volatile. It had a low of $13 all the way up to and hit a high of 1950s. So that's a $6 gap right there. And with 500 shares, each dollar converts to $500. So 6 times 500, you're looking at $3,000 in losses or gains, depending on which side you're on. So knowing that with higher price stocks, you don't need that many shares to make a profit or lose money on it. But one of the perks of having a smaller account is even if I use 6 times my leverage, 6 times my original buying power, I was only able to take 300 shares in size around 1770, which is a good thing because with just $300, as we saw here, I made $367. But the same thing could have happened on the inverse side. I could have easily lost $300. So the 500 shares really works for me and I'm going to stick with it. So that's it for today. I'm going to try my best to come out with videos on a daily basis. But for example, I'll most likely be traveling this weekend, but I'm going to come back definitely on Monday because I'm serious about trading and I'm focusing all my time and energy into this. So even if I do travel anywhere, I'm going to be trading every day, Monday through Friday, except the holidays, of course. And I'm going to try my best to come out with daily videos, but on some days I might be too busy, and I'll just see how it goes from here on out. Also, one last thing, I wanted to give a shout out to whoever that sent me $15 on PayPal. Um, I don't know who this person is, but I'm pretty sure it was one of you guys watching my YouTube videos. Thank you for that $15, but I haven't claimed it because I'm not offering any services for any type of fees. All the videos I come out with are free to watch and it's all on YouTube. Perhaps in the future, I'll come out with services I could charge people with if that's the type of thing people are interested in, and maybe I'll even come out with a book, maybe a training course. But anyways, thanks again to whoever. Shout out to you, whoever sent me $15. And the note here, it says premium signal. I'm not offering any premium signal right now. I might in the future, so keep a lookout for that, I guess. Once again, I haven't claimed your $15, but thanks again. And thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, whenever I can. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow or whenever the next time I come out with a video.